This is MuggleCast, your Harry Potter and Fantastic Beasts podcast covering everything about J.K. Rowling's Wizarding World. Welcome to MuggleCast episode 302. Micah, Eric, and I are here this week. Good October, gentlemen.
Good October.
It's a good October. And we are joined by Pamela Gokabachi of Hypable, also writes for peopleschoice.com, and all-around awesome person. Hey, Pam.
Hey, how's it going?
Welcome back.
Hey,
Good.
It's been a while.
A little bit.
Yes, it has. You also host Hypable's weekly entertainment podcast, Hype.
I do. I host
Selena.
Hype.
So we have a great show today. There's lots of interesting news that's happened over the past few weeks, and we're just going to talk about all of it this episode. We're going to catch up on a lot of great news. I just want to plug a couple things first. LeakyCon is coming up here in the Los Angeles area. It's actually very close to me, which it's weird to have a Harry Potter conference happening so close to me. It's October 19th to the 23rd in Los Angeles, and the LeakyCon people asked me to let you all know about the party in the park they're doing at the local Wizarding World here in Los Angeles. You can buy tickets at leakycon.com/MuggleCast. And these Party in the Park tickets will get you exclusive access to LeakyCon's private park event. So there's going to be smaller lines. It's going to be the Wizarding World come at 6 p.m. on the night that they're hosting this event. It's going to be closed off to everyone except for Party in the Park attendees. So it'll be cool. The lines will be shorter. You can do whatever you want without waiting. And the whole Wizarding World land will be open for you. So go to leakycon.com/MuggleCast if you want to check out tickets for that. If you live in the LA area and you haven't been to the Wizarding World yet, this is probably the perfect opportunity to do so, because what's more magical than small lines at theme parks?
Yeah, I read the email. It's pretty cool. It talks about 8 hours in the park after 3 p.m. And at the very bottom, after all these numbers that they throw at you, it says 0 muggles. I'm like, this is great. So So it's a way to experience the theme park. And they've done this before at LeakyCons and at HBF cons that are near the park, to have these after hours events. And it's always such a good time with you and just your friends. 1,000 of your closest friends.
Well, you say
said, so.
HP cons that are near the park as if they weren't planned to be in those cities strategically. But we've all gone in Orlando, and I know that it's just a lot of fun to have these parks exclusively closed for you. Is a really nice experience, especially if you're there with your friends and you just get the opportunity to go around, have a meal inside the 3 broomsticks, or
have a butterbeer,
go on some of the rides,
spike it with some Fireball, which I've done in the Los Angeles park.
You've done that in LA? They have
yes,
the Hog's Head Tavern, all that.
Yeah. Well, I brought in my own Fireball, of course.
Did you? Because Eric, what did we take shots of in the Hog's Head in Orlando?
Yeah, it's the fire whiskey that they sell there.
Fire whiskey, that's what it was.
Yeah, but it's oh god, it's awful. It's just cinnamon whiskey. Well, Andrew, so you snuck a flask in of like.
Well, Fireball comes in like a plastic bottle, so I just brought that into the park. It's not like they knew.
Hopefully, they're not listening.
And by the way, I will be doing a couple of panels at LeakyCon about Harry Potter, obviously. So
will these be hosted at your apartment, given your proximity?
No, but you know what? It's the hotel is like literally right next to my gym. So I'm thinking of like doing a quick workout first and then going over, or maybe I'll have everybody come to my gym and be like, hey, can we do this while I'm on the elliptical, please?
You're going to have a Soul Cycle class, except it's going to be all Harry Potter fans.
Yeah. Blast Hedwig's theme. Let's go!
Oh man, Andrew, you could win big on like referrals if you just get like have a group come over, right, and have them all get little memberships or one-day passes.
Yeah.
You could score big points.
My apartment complex has a rooftop balcony or rooftop party area. I'm thinking of inviting everybody over and throwing an exclusive party. party.
Will there be a cover though?
Yes. I'm leakycon.com/Andrew's party. You can buy tickets for my rooftop event where you can't see the Wizarding World because there's a tree blocking it.
Oh, I thought you could see it last time.
No.
I thought you cut that tree
No,
down.
not yet. Well, you could see Universal, but you can't see the castle.
I swear to God, last time I was there, we hopped a railing and you could see it.
No, I don't think so. I tried.
We got to start a Kickstarter or a Patreon perk that's actually let's fund the cutting down of this offensive tree.
I would like that.
That's blocking.
Yeah, I know what Pam's talking about. I was like hanging over the edge of a 5-story building trying to see the castle, but
that sounds smart.
And that was the last we ever saw of Andrew Sims.
So in case people are wondering, MuggleCast has really changed because we've, in the last 5 minutes or so, promoted taking shots, after-hours parties, and cutting down trees.
I picked the best episode to come on. This is great.
Well, you really would have enjoyed our 300th episode, particularly the end.
I'll have to go back and listen.
Do so at your own risk.
James, who's listening live on our Patreon right now, he has a good idea. He says, blast the MuggleCast Hedwig's theme, the remix, at the Soul Cycle class that I'm holding. That's a great idea.
Oh, that's cool.
That'll get everybody pumped. By the way, we are broadcasting this live to our patrons at patreon.com/MuggleCast. You can pledge $2 or above to listen to us record live. Okay, so let's get to some news. Let's start with, I guess this is the biggest news of the past couple of weeks, the Patronus quiz. We finally got the Patronus quiz. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm saying these words.
Now, this quiz was released not very long after our last episode, right? Where we talked about when we would get this quiz. Would it come before George R. R. Martin released The Winds of Winter or after? I know that was kind of more of an inside joke, but I think I'm right? That we released our episode and not long thereafter this quiz finally was released.
Well, are you saying that we're responsible? Is that what you're implying?
I have the next Game of Thrones book, actually, Micah, so that happened first.
Okay, you weren't right, Micah.
Just kidding.
Well, is that just for you?
Yeah, but I know what you're saying. Micah likes to believe and say, and he has in the past, right? Micah gets results. That's an episode of MuggleCast called that. It's every time Micah says something, Pottermore does it. So I think we all owe him a debt of gratitude.
Right, enough patting ourselves on the back.
Yeah.
I was really, really impressed by this Patronus quiz for multiple reasons. For one, it takes the whole idea of a personality quiz to a new level. It was just immersive. It was magical. It was interactive. You had to conduct a spell at the end of it. It put every other personality quiz on the internet to shame. And further,
I agree.
It was very impressive that there are over 140 animals in this Patronus quiz as well. So there were a ton of different answers, and it was so fun those first couple days watching everybody get the results, and Pottermore made it easy to tweet and Facebook it so you could see all the animals your friends were getting. What did each of us get?
I got a dolphin, but this quiz really stressed me out because I had no idea what was happening. And all of a sudden it was like, pick something. And I was like, wait, there's no time.
Yeah.
And so I missed like the first question for sure. And they were like, no matter. I was like, no, I want to go back. Now I have an answer. You can't go back.
That was part of the fun of it. It kind of made you answer quickly, or else you had to retake the questions.
Yeah, and we on Hype, we got some comments saying like, oh, well, like, I don't think it's accurate because I missed some questions. And I said, no, it is accurate because your first response was to not answer that question. Like, your first response was to freak out. Therefore, it's all indicative of what you get. It's fine.
Exactly.
It's good.
Yeah, I got a sparrowhawk.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Why?
Is that like a tiny bird? Or does it eat tiny birds for breakfast? What's a sparrowhawk?
That's a great question, and I tried to learn more about the sparrowhawk because when I was on Pottermore, there was a place that you could click that said learn more about your Patronus, but when I tried to, it didn't take me anywhere. So I'm wondering if they changed that, if there's more information about these animals, or it's really more upon you to go out and find information. Now, I know there's an American sparrowhawk, which I guess would be applicable to me. There's also a Eurasian sparrowhawk, but they're pretty small birds, yeah. And they're birds of prey, however.
Ooh.
So they're not just,
because they're hawks.
eating berries and twigs and stuff like that.
My Patronus eats berries and twigs, I think.
What is it?
It's, there's a story behind this one. It's a stoat, which is also known as ermine, also known as little weasel. There's actually...
So you're a little weasel? Is that what we're taking away from this?
Okay, first of all, if you look at the list of animals, a disc of Patronus animal results, which MuggleNet has one, Hypable has one, there are a disproportionate number of animals that are actually of the weasel family. And J.K. Rowling addressed this on Twitter, I think that day, the morning that it announced, and actually just continued to express her love for all members of the weasel family. Her own Patronus, if I'm remembering correctly, used to be something similar. So the thing that I have a problem with, though, is that there's a mention of stoat in the first book, actually in book 1, and it's because Hagrid serves it in a sandwich to the trio.
So are you going to have a stoat sandwich to celebrate your Patronus result?
Yeah, so I tweeted at JKR, and I was like, hey, I feel kind of victimized here because Hagrid, killed my Patronus and tried to feed it to the kids. What should I do? And when she didn't reply, I was like, well, what if I, try and eat a stoat sandwich? Is there any kind of special powers that gives me if you actually eat your own Patronus? And so I went on like a week-long search of where I could find a stoat sandwich in Chicago. And it turns out you can't get it. Actually, even in the U.S., the closest thing you can eat anywhere in the U.S. is just a squirrel, which I would never do. And so one day, if I'm in Scotland, which is where they have, I believe, a surplus of stoat, I think I'll certainly want to try it. Because I think, if Hagrid makes it, I'm surprised it's not in like the Harry Potter cookbook or that you can't get it more readily. But yeah, I feel pretty victimized still that
so
my
you're
Patronus
gonna eat your own Patronus?
That's pretty disgusting.
Wouldn't that be cool? Wouldn't you?
No.
Wouldn't you?
No.
Would I eat a sparrowhawk? No, I don't think so.
What are we, animals?
Okay, it's not like those who... Okay, I would never eat a dolphin if my Patronus were a dolphin. I would never eat a Jack Russell Terrier. I don't know. Hagrid already did, though, you guys. Like, if the kids were to have been accepting of his food, they would have eaten my Patronus. And I don't know how I feel about that. So the only way to overcome it is to consume. Is to, I don't know.
My Patronus
getting very dark
about my result.
Is one I will not eat. It is the West Highland Terrier. It's an adorable doggy. I just love getting him and then seeing him prance around the screen. I was tickled by it.
Yeah, the animation is really lovely. Even when you're answering the questions, you're flying through the trees. It looks like something out of like the first Twilight film. But it's really good.
Yeah, and I guess we all may have tried to think about like how these Patronuses reflect us. And like for me, it's a dog. It's loving. It's always there for you. And I was like, "Oh, that's really sweet." Did anybody like think deeper about what their Patronus selection could mean?
I found it interesting that a description wasn't provided. Pottermore made all of this effort to have 140 plus options, and I'm just surprised that there's no, this quiz wasn't put out on any kind of special anniversary or birthday that we know of. So it's not like there was this deadline. So they released this awesome quiz. It's a blast and a half to take. But then there's no description as to what you get actually means. Unlike wands, unlike literally everything else on Pottermore where there's a reason behind it, none of these actually have any explanation provided. Go ahead, Pam.
Oh, but I kind of like that, Eric, because it kind of forces you to find your own meaning in the thing. And I think sometimes it's like really helps people just accept what they got. But by pure happenstance alone, as a true like child of the 90s, my grandparents used to get me dolphins all the time, like little dolphin figurines and like dolphin toys and things like that. Aww. So when I got a dolphin, I was like, oh, of course, like this is perfect.
So sweet.
but it's just like, it was just pure happenstance. And I never would have like thought that it would have ended up being a dolphin. But when I saw it, I was like, although I do kind of wish that those animations, like, you know, at the end, like, they allowed you to share your results. Like, I thought that, like, some kind of GIF was going to go over to, like, my Twitter or something, and it was just, like, this lime link to Pottermore, and that was too bad. Because it would have been nice to see everybody's, like, little animals. I
mean, if you have a dolphin, like, you can totally be like, oh, dolphins are smart. I can see how, you know,
they're also protectors. Like, they've been known to, like, save, like sailors and humans and things like that, and, like, they protect their own. They swim in like a pod. So it just, it's nice.
So let me introduce you to stoats, okay? The stoat,
Eric, enough about your stoats.
Hang on, also known as the short-tailed weasel. In the late 19th century, stoats were introduced into New Zealand to control rabbits, where the stoats have had a devastating effect on native bird populations. So these weasels, they imported into a country to kill all the rabbits, which I love rabbits. I wish my Patronus were a rabbit. And then the stoats had, like, overrun the country and are killing birds. Ugh, I just feel terrible. I can't get something good out of this. There's no bright side for me.
Regarding these additional information in a press release when they announced this, when they launched this quiz, it said, quote, "In the months to come, further new information and features will be revealed about the spell and its outcomes on Pottermore." So that kind of sounds like they might eventually release details. Now, that would take a lot of work on J.K. Rowling's part to write 140 plus different explanations. So I imagine
But why haven't they already?
Because that's a lot of work. And I mean, is it really necessary? Because I do agree with Pam. You just kind of think about it for yourself. It's not like in the wizarding world they get some sort of explanation unless there's a book on it. I guess there could be. A lot of people, by the way, were disappointed by their animals. I think because there were just so many choices that you get an animal you've never heard of, or you get like a little bird or like a mouse or something, and you're like, what? Oh, I wanted a dolphin, a cute doggy. There's an orca whale. There's a dragon.
Yeah.
And some people are getting like really dumb ones, like Micah's. No offense, Micah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you say something?
No. No, I didn't say anything.
I'd fly down and peck out the eyes of your terrier.
Way to take the high road. Also, way too brutal.
My terrier will eat
responses.
will eat your dumb bird. Take that, West Highland Terrier. I choose you. Anyway, nice to see this quiz is finally out there. Like I said, I think it was really impressive, very immersive, very beautiful. Brings personality quizzes to the next level. And that
was also our question of the week, though. I think this would probably be a good time to see what listeners thought of the Patronuses that they received. I was actually, I know you're making light of the Sparrowhawk, but I didn't have any objection to it.
I am just messing with you. It's fine. But tell us what some of our listeners got.
Okay, so Keelan Renee Harris said, "I got an Irish Wolfhound. It's absolutely perfect for me."
See, some people just know. They don't need the explanation.
I know. It's like everybody. These are actually these question of the week responses are a great indicator of what Pamela was saying too. Like, you research it for yourself, and like by going online and, you know, Andrew, you said too, like, you really find that meaning just by a quick couple searches.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, honestly, if I got an Irish Wolfhound, that sounds pretty badass. I would be pretty happy too. Trust My Rage. Great name. I'm pretty happy that I got a Manx cat. I researched the characteristics of the breed and I feel it fits me well. Christina Vorko said, "I got an Osprey. I think it fits. I love researching online as soon as I found out my Patronus." So, yeah, to both Pam and Eric's point, we see a lot of people doing their own research here and finding out exactly the characteristics of these different animals.
Yeah, in part because a lot of these we never heard of before.
So many cats. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I got a what?
Ann Pan Pone. I think that's how you say that. She got a nightjar. I don't know anything about it other than that it's a bird, which I'd say it's fitting since I love the idea of flying. This is me grasping at straws, by the way. I do not feel very connected to the nightjar, but the quiz itself was a gorgeous A++.
There's an opportunity for Pottermore explanation. Nightjar does sound awesome.
Oh, and by the way, if J.K. Rowling would have given us explanations for all these, it would have been like a horoscope gone bad. You look at it and be like, well, that's not me at all.
Well, there's a way to... It's like the welcome letters, though, in the houses, though. There's a way of doing it where it's, like, very non-specific. Broad. Like, it's... Yeah, broad.
You will
like,
live
where you can read a lot.
A good life. Some fortune may be in your future.
Fortune cookie explanations.
You will think about love within the next 3 weeks, probably.
Here's a couple more responses. Chrissy said, I got a white mare. Not sure what it says about me, but I love it. Fantastic Leak said an adder. Snake. I'm a snake. That was pretty funny. Somebody else got a nightjar. Someone we know. Cullen got a nightjar. I'm super excited. It's a bird, but look at these judgmental eyes. Fits me perfectly. There's actually a photo of a nightjar, and it is not impressed that the photographer was present taking this photo of it.
Its eyes are like half open.
Maybe it had a rough night.
Rebecca said, I got a blackbird, which I'm very happy with. As soon as I saw it, I knew it was right. And then, you know what? Did anybody else retake? Did you guys try and retake it and see if anything changed?
I want to, let's get through these, and then I want to talk about that.
Ferranian said, got buzzard, wasn't happy. Took again with different email, got thestral. Guess I have seen death up close and flown on. Spookium says, got an otter like Hermione, would have liked a non-canon one, but I accept it as I too have an undying love for Ronald Weasley.
Aww.
When I imagined mine a long time ago, I imagined it as a miniature schnauzer. Okay, so he thinks he's a dog. Is that what I'm taking away here?
Yeah.
Yep. She, who knows? Cian Zoe Dawson. I was surprised by my result, but I'm okay with it now. I'm a Siberian cat.
Pretty cool.
Sultana, I got a rune spore, and apparently they're rare. As a Slytherin, I don't mind at all. At Ginger Prince 28 says, yes, I got a pheasant, slowly coming around to accepting it. Troy says, I got a rat. I've researched about it, and I've come to really like getting it as my Patronus.
That's interesting. Like, did Troy not like rats beforehand? And I guess obviously never had any reason to look up rats, and now he's like, oh, rats are good animals.
Yeah. I think there's a difference too between getting it as your animagus and getting it as your Patronus, right? Like,
are they not one and the same?
They're not, though. We're spoiled in Harry Potter by like having characters who it's literally the same for, but I think they're really different. I would argue that they're completely different facets of one's persona.
Finally, Holly said, I got a gray squirrel. At first disappointed, but now squirrels keep coming up to me. I get the impression it's working. Talitha says, I got a dolphin. I don't know if I'm happy with it. And finally, Timothy says, West Highland Terrier. I like dogs, but my friends say it doesn't seem right for me, and I agree. I needed more time. So here's the thing about taking the quiz multiple times, like we were just about to talk about. We got an email from someone about this as well. My opinion on taking it multiple times, because the person who emailed in, she said, I took it multiple times. I don't know which one should be my Patronus. Help. Here's my advice to everybody, whether it's the Patronus quiz, the sorting quiz, or any other quiz that Pottermore puts out. Take the first one and stick with it. None of this multiple times nonsense. Just do it once and don't think about it, because I hate to bring this up and ruin the magic a little bit, but these results, like, they're not like brilliantly tailored to the person taking them. So you just got to accept whatever you get.
I mean, I think I would probably agree with part of that, which is take what you first get. I mean, I don't know too, like, if I can spoil, or not spoil, but if I can let the secret out, Gina first got a dolphin when she tried. but she didn't like it. She didn't think it fit her at all. And I'm like, who doesn't like dolphins? But she's like, I don't like it. And so just like Talitha wrote, I got a dolphin. I don't know if I'm happy with it. I still don't know who doesn't like dolphins. But like,
right.
it's as a Patronus, people tend to think that it should be something else. If you have an indicator, if you have an inkling what your Patronus is, fine. That's your Patronus. Like, don't blame Pottermore for not having what you know to be true in your heart is your Patronus. Like, just go with that. Like, this is not a make or break sort of situation. It's like house sorting, right? I got sorted in a Hufflepuff after years of dressing as a Gryffindor. And I was like, yeah, conflicted, sure, a little bit, but like, just, if I kind of then came to see that Hufflepuff was closer. And I think that honestly, a lot of these, like, I don't think this was just made up completely for fun. I think it is, I think they really did put effort into figuring out, the logistics of clicking what means what. I think Pottermore really did some things, but is it definitive? I mean, it's not like overriding canon. It's just a good, fun thing that's allowing you to maybe learn more about yourself if you were a wizard, but it's all fake. So just, take it with as much of a grain of salt as you want.
Also, they've been known to change Patronuses, so maybe you get this one your first time, and in a couple years, you can just feel better knowing that yours will change.
Mm-hmm.
Most wizards, I'm pretty sure this is canon too, most wizards, like, can't even conjure a Patronus. Like, Patronuses have hit the spotlight because of Harry Potter, but everyone thought it was really impressive in the Wizengamot when they were asking Harry about it. And so I bet most wizards in the wizarding world don't even know what theirs is.
Yeah.
So we are all very lucky.
By the way, the person who emailed me was Aletha, so thank you for that email. I did email her back and try to soothe her because she was very stressed out about it.
Oh.
I agree, though, with all the points that have been made so far. These are just for fun. I don't think we need to take them overly serious when we do them. And I do understand, though, how people can be a little bit disappointed, especially if there's no explanation. I think if there were more explanations, it may help people better understand why it was that they got a particular Patronus. I think that would be something that they should look to do moving forward. And yeah, it's great to go out and do research on your own, and there's some fun to that, but for a lot of people, I think what they were expecting was when they got their Patronus, there would be something there, some summary that would help to better explain why. So, once again, Pottermore, great job.
That may still come, so that's that. Let's move on to some other news now. The Chamber of Secrets Illustrated Edition has arrived. Anybody pick it up yet?
I have not.
Physically, yes, but I have not bought it.
Physically, yeah, okay. Literally speaking, yes, I did pick it up.
Physically, I picked it up at Barnes & Noble, but...
Window shopped it, huh?
Exactly.
Why was that not an instant buy for you, Pamela? Are you not a real Harry Potter fan?
No, it's because I know I'm going to get 3 copies for Christmas, so I've been told to stay away.
Okay. So you're gonna wait 10 weeks
I wish I didn't have to.
Well, she didn't wait 10 weeks. You paged through it.
Christmas could just do me a favor and come sooner this year.
Well, that would be nice. Yeah, I'm on like, everybody's like, don't get yourself like X, Y, and Z. I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. I'll make shopping easier for somebody that won't know what to get me.
Yeah.
And it's like, I felt like that was a nice thing to do, okay?
So what do you think of it?
So you're really biting the bullet. Jeez.
I think these are so beautiful. Like, I have copies of like, just like the first books I got, obviously, like when they all started coming out, and I have the whole set in Spanish because that's like, I'm bilingual, but this is like the only other set I've ever felt compelled to buy because it's so beautiful.
Yes.
It's so beautiful. And I love, it's just like all the little cadences, like the detail, the diagonally, like all of the shops, like seeing how they're imagined, like all of the spiders, like going through the whole, oh my gosh, it was great. It's beautiful.
I wrote a review on Hypable. I had similar thoughts. It is, I think, I wrote this in the review. I don't think there's ever been a line of merchandise in the Harry Potter fandom that has been more of a must-have than the original 7 books. Because these, whether you've been a fan forever or you're a relatively recent fan or you haven't read Harry Potter yet, this is the perfect thing to pick up right now. The illustrations are just gorgeous. I love turning every page and seeing some stunning illustrations. There was a couple of times in Chamber of Secrets, I turned the page and I was just like, wow. Jim K the illustrator really does surprise you. And I personally think that his illustrations are amazing. I can't imagine any other illustrator doing this because I think they represent J.K. Rowling's books so well. The only negative thing I had to say about it was I did notice there weren't as many illustrations. I counted about, I had the number in here. Where is it? I counted about 82 illustrations in Chamber of Secrets, whereas Sorcerer's Stone had about 98. And I'm a little worried that Scholastic and Bloomsbury are going to keep the pressure on him to release one of these once a year. And as these books get longer, like Goblet of Fire, that may not be enough time a year to prepare. And of course, he's working on these books before, he's been working on Prisoner of Azkaban for a few months, but of course it has to get to the printer and whatnot. And they already have Prisoner of Azkaban scheduled for October. So I'm hoping that
October of 17.
Yeah. So I'm hoping they give him the time he needs for Goblet of Fire, Order of the Phoenix. I mean, everything after Goblet of Fire is going to need a lot of time because we would like to see an illustration every 1 or 2 pages. In Chamber of Secrets, there were some pages you would flip 3 or 4 pages without seeing an illustration, and that's a little weird in an illustrated edition.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they'll split those books, like they did.
Yeah, that would be.
Or just
bad jokes.
Here's. Oh, I get it. That's funny. That is funny. They have one chance to get these right. Don't screw it up. Give him as much time as he needs. Publish them let Goblet of Fire come out in 2019, 2 years after Prisoner of Azkaban. Because once they do this, they can't go back and do this again, I don't think. Make these the definitive illustrated editions.
Yeah, I agree. There's one other thing about Jim K's images that were pointed out to me for Chamber of Secrets, and this is, I think it's going to be a little controversial. Most of the world probably doesn't have this book yet, but it was brought to my attention from an internal MuggleNet group that there are no pictures of Ginny Weasley in all of the illustrated Chamber of Secrets books. Ginny does not appear at all in any of them, and she's kind of a big deal in Chamber of Secrets, the book.
Yeah.
It's her diary. It's her writing in the diary, and she is taken into the chamber. This was an incredible oversight, and it actually quite shocks me that could be a reality.
Yeah, I agree with that. That is surprising, given, like you said, Ginny is a important part of Chamber of Secrets. So you would have thought she'd be in there.
We got a nice picture of Dobby's butt, though.
Yeah, that was a surprise. You see,
that's in the document for patrons who are listening at home.
You see Dobby's bare ass running down the stairs. I was like, oh, I never expected this to get illustrated.
It must have been cold in the Dursleys, though.
Now, Jesus. Micah, do we know?
Now I regret pasting this image. I regret pasting this image in the
genitalia. Tweet J.K. Rowling and ask.
Somebody, please, listening, go do that.
I hate to compliment the features of a house elf, but he does have nice calves. That left calf is very defined.
Yeah, Dobby definitely works out.
running up and down those Malfoy stairs all day.
Yeah.
But separately, just talking about these illustrated editions, I do have Sorcerer's Stone and plan to get Chamber of Secrets. The one thing I wonder, though, is that do you see these books being used as replacements for maybe kids that are growing up now to have these illustrated editions as opposed to the real thing, the first editions of the series that were released? And so does that, and we've had these conversations as it relates to the movies, but does that taint a little bit the image of this world? Is it being created for these readers that may be reading for the first time, as opposed to them using their own imagination to see what it looks like? to them?
That's a good question. You may remember Pottermore hid all the faces originally when they were doing their illustrations because they didn't want to ruin the imaginations of people, of readers. I think this is a fine replacement for new generations because all the words are still there. There are tons of illustrations, but we already have these characters in our heads anyway. If you've seen the movies, not that these illustrations are necessarily inspired by the movie. The illustrator has said that's not the case, but they aren't dissimilar.
Yeah.
Right, but if you're reading for the first time, your perception of different characters and places will be influenced by what you see in these illustrated editions. Not assuming that you haven't seen the movies yet, right? So,
yeah, I think this is fine. The problem is these aren't portable. They're not easy to take around on a bus or a plane. These books are big. So in that regard,
they're only going to get bigger.
They may not be the best way to read. Right. Like, do you want to tote this around, Order of the Phoenix illustrated edition around? That's going to be a big book.
It'll come with a backpack. It'll come with a suitcase that has the books in it.
Yeah, right.
Can you ebook an illustrated edition?
Yeah.
Sure, you can ebook anything, but
I don't think they want to do that. I think these are meant to be on the page, printed. Anyway, that's the illustrated edition. Definitely, if you're a Harry Potter, I mean, obviously everybody listening is a Harry Potter fan, ask for this as a holiday gift. You know you want it if you've seen the Sorcerer's Stone one, and you know that like once you buy the first one, you can't not have the remaining 6. And they just, they just look beautiful on your shelf. They've just done such a great job with this. Anyway,
I can't hold out till Christmas. I'm gonna get this for myself.
Oh, for yourself, Eric. I'll have Santa bring it for you.
I'm not gonna wait 10 weeks.
Oh, okay. So those 2 stories alone were pretty big, but believe it or not, there's a ton more exciting news. A new Fantastic Beasts trailer was released. This is
yes,
the final Fantastic Beasts trailer, supposedly. Interesting part of it here was that Grindelwald was mentioned. Eric, can you please explain to us what Grindelwald's mentioned?
No.
What?
Nope.
Oh, because you already know?
I know nothing.
Well, no, just in the context of the trailer, can you explain?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
So, I think it's Serafina Pickery, right, in the trailer, the president of MACUSA, who says, this is not dissimilar from the Grindelwald attacks in Europe. And I think she is trying to say that the U.S. is facing, because of these beasts that have been released, that they're facing a big issue, an epidemic. It's going to raise, tensions tenfold, just like the concurrent attacks in Europe. This shout out to Grindelwald, this name dropping, which I think has really sparked not only an interesting article on Hypable, but lots of Twitter talk, lots of buzz, lots of conversation, is really confusing to me. Actually, is my opinion on it, because it seems a little early, even by Fantastic Beasts standards, for Grindelwald to be terrorizing Europe. This is 1926 that Fantastic Beasts is taking place in, and Dumbledore, who was name dropped in an earlier trailer, ends up defeating Grindelwald in 1945. That's their showdown where, it finally ends. And that's 19 years later from 1926. So if Grindelwald is already terrorizing Europe, as this trailer would lead us to believe, it means that Dumbledore just sat on his butt for 19 years, nearly 20 years, without actually defeating Grindelwald. Like, it's too soon for me for Grindelwald to be in this picture.
Well, too soon, but we do have a trilogy ahead of us. So there's plenty of time for it to happen.
Right?
Yeah.
So do you guys, it would seem to be that Newt is somehow going to be involved in the Dumbledore versus Grindelwald situation. It would seem, right?
Right. Right.
And that's confusing to me because I thought these movies were about beasts getting loose. And, you know,
well,
go on.
Yes, but think about it this way. And I don't know if I mentioned this on a recent episode, but I've been getting the feeling recently that Fantastic Beasts is going to pivot into a very different story by the second or third movie. We've heard that a big character from the Harry Potter world, we're going to be seeing their younger selves have a prominent role in the second Fantastic Beasts movie. We heard J.K. Rowling say at a Cursed Child event that Fantastic Beasts is more previewy of the Harry Potter world than people realize. J.K. Rowling also said, was it in this trailer or it was something else very recent where she said that she revealed if there was anything she was going to write in the Wizarding world after Harry Potter, this was it.
It's actually in
there's just a lot of
Pottermore piece that she wrote on MUGGleCast. She said after the Potter books, this was always where I was interested in going.
I didn't even see her comment on that. I just read the content. I didn't even see her quote that. That's interesting.
So Eric mentioned this article that Selena wrote on Hypable. Selena surmises that Graves is doing the same thing as Grindelwald was doing. That's probably what the Bakuza president is referencing. And, I mean, it all makes sense to me.
Well, he's seen in this trailer, right? I think he said in an interview, too, that he's going to try and... His character, Graves, recruits or tries to recruit Ezra's character, or the character Ezra. And, like, they're shown in this trailer, and Graves is totally like... Who we have to ask us who this, what this statute of secrecy protects, us or them. And it's all kind of like, clearly he's manipulating this younger wizard to break out and defy the law or defy, you know, Serafina. It doesn't seem like he's on the side of the government. At first I thought he was a foil for just Newt. You know, he's an R who... He's got a heck of a day ahead of him because all these beasts are loose. But now I'm thinking there's something more sinister to Graves because he's in an alleyway coercing this young man. Yeah, I really think that the trailer indicates that.
I could be completely off, but I see Graves as one of those misunderstood type of characters that could potentially come around before the end of the movie, or maybe
like
in this
a
case,
Snape?
The end of the series. Kind of like a Snape, but the more that, you know, you've talked about this, the more maybe I need to reconsider my perception of him. But you know,
I love your perception.
In the Pottermore article about MUGGleCast, a descendant, or I should say, Graves is descended from one of the first Aurors that were trained in the United States under the first president. So clearly, there's a long lineage of magical history for Graves and his family, and so maybe, you know, it reminds me a bit of a Malfoy within the Ministry of Magic, and you know, there's nothing to say that being on the side of the government, we don't know that the president currently of MUGGleCast is doing the right things. We're just assuming, right? We've seen how the government can really be ignorant of so many of the things that's going on around them.
That's a really
Cornelius
good point.
Fudge certainly comes to mind, but I think it's just something we're going to have to watch play out. But I go back to what Andrew was saying, that really the direction of this 3-part series is going to change, right? There's going to be a focus in this movie about getting the beasts and hopefully capturing them all, and there's sort of a fun feeling about all of that, right? Kind of like we got in Sorcerer's Stone and even to an extent in Chamber of Secrets, but there will be a pivot where this is going to lay the groundwork for future films, and I wonder, you know, are the beasts going to be captured not all by Newt? Are they going to be used for evil purposes? How does a character like Grindelwald play into that? There's a lot of questions for me.
When
I actually wouldn't be surprised if future movies aren't titled Fantastic Beasts and blah, blah, blah. It could have a completely different title, which
Wizarding
may be...
Dictators and Where to Find Them. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So maybe instead of beasts, it could be. Okay. I was thinking it would, if they did keep the same title, it would be Fantastic Beasts Ads, just like Harry Potter Ads. But Eric, you mentioned Ezra Miller's character. Remember, that character is the son of a woman who hates wizards and witches, and she's part of the Second Salem group.
Oh.
So she wants to prosecute wizards and wizards again. Meanwhile, her son is probably a wizard himself, but mom doesn't know it yet. That's my guess.
Yeah.
And so Graves is going to cozy up to Ezra Miller's character. Should really just look up his name. And they're gonna kind of work together as the rebels in some regard to bring equality, I guess, to America for wizards.
I forget there's that.
And meanwhile, this is going to be rough for Ezra Miller's character because his mom hates people like him.
Right, there's that extra level of nuance here, and it's brought up in the MACUSA background as well, which I know we're talking about later, but the extra layer of there are wizards who hate or there were the Scourers, which are actually bad. So there's bad guys within the wizarding community, good guys within the wizarding community, good guys that are muggles that just don't know, and then there's like all these extra, like Ezra's mom's character who knows, I guess she's a muggle, but she knows about wizards but hates wizards, and so there's that extra level of like, might not be a bad guy, just is like either ignorant or not fully informed or, any of that. So I don't know. I still like Micah's take the best, that this Graves character is more of like a Snape.
I'm just
and might be like a, go on.
What I'm kind of wondering is like, why he feels the need to take this idea of his like underground, because he's like recruiting off on the side, but I just kind of feel like there must be other people within the government that feel the same way as him. Like, I would not be surprised if it's two opposing sides. So right. I'm wondering if they're going to get into that. But it is like, to me, it's like, it could also be a red herring. It's just kind of seedy to see him like, trying
in an alley.
Yeah, like why, if he's like this prominent, but I don't know, like, because I feel, especially because it's taking place, so far back in history, like a lot of those viewpoints were kind of more brought out to the surface. Like, it makes sense for Lucius Malfoy to keep his like hate of like, Muggle-borns deep down and like secret, but it wouldn't make sense for me in the 1920s, especially in America, where like race relations were not the best at this time. We already see that there's like a divide for this to be kept so secret. So I am interested to see how that plays out.
Okay.
Specifically.
Well, let's continue moving on here. Before Fantastic Beasts hits theaters, Warner Brothers and IMAX are going to remind us why we're so excited in the first place. All 8 Harry Potter movies are returning to IMAX theaters, select IMAX theaters, for 1 week only. It begins this Thursday, October 13th. There's also going to be new previews of Fantastic Beasts during these movies. It's a really good deal. You can buy this festival pass thing. It gets you access to all 8 movies. You can see them as many times as you want for $30.
Oh my God.
You could go see Sorcerer's Stone 5 times, Chamber 3 times, Deathly Hallows 4 times. You can see them all as many times as you want throughout this week. $30. Great deal. I actually think most people are excited about this because it is a chance to see them on the big screen again. All the movies. People were really excited by this news when it broke on October 3rd. And I think it shows you how much people still love these movies. I know those Harry Potter marathons that always run on ABC Family, people love to tune into those, or of course rewatch their own DVDs or Blu-rays. But this is a chance to relive an experience you haven't had in 5 years since Deathly Hallows Part 2 came out. And the fact that it's so cheap too, it's just awesome. I'm going to be traveling during this week, so unfortunately I don't think I'm going to be able to make any of these, but I'm excited to see friends return to the theater to watch these Harry Potter movies, and this was a great idea. By the way, IMAX's website was broken the evening that they announced this,
shock.
so I think there's a lot of demand. Well, it kind of is shocking, isn't it, that so many people want to see
No,
this?
I don't think so. I agree with what Eric was saying about the opportunity to see the first few movies, and quite honestly, I think Goblet of Fire was the first movie that I saw in theaters, because by the time in 2005, when I really got into the series, so I got into it probably a bit later than most people on the podcast right now, those other three movies had already been released, and I had already seen them, whether it was, on DVD or on television. So the opportunity to go back and to see those original movies, Sorcerer's Stone, Chamber of Secrets, in a movie theater, I think is really cool.
It also kind of helps like the new fans. I feel like anytime you see all those like lists online that say like, you're a true Harry Potter fan, if a lot of the comments are always, newer people to the fandom saying like, well, I wasn't a fan like when this happened, or I wasn't old enough to remember XYZ. And so you're kind of giving them an opportunity to experience this in this second time around. And so that's really nice as well, because then they'll be able to say that they do understand how magical it was to see something like a Sorcerer's Stone, Prisoner of Azkaban, like on the big screen and stuff. So that's really nice.
Yeah.
And I also think too that that in these situations, you're going to be surrounded by Potter fans, right? For the most part. I mean, these are people who really care about the books and care about the movies. And I remember, particularly with the last couple of films, and I know for Deathly Hallows Part 2, when we were all in Orlando watching the movie with other people who, care a lot about the series. And so I think that's a different experience than just walking into a theater and you don't know who you're sitting next to or who's around you and how much they really care. I got to see the movie because I've seen all the others, or I'm taking my kids or something like that. So I just think that it'll be a cool experience for a lot of people.
Yeah, good times. I wouldn't be surprised if the movies come into theaters outside of IMAX, like a bunch of AMCs or something.
That's what I want.
Do a big marathon.
Because the IMAX is like, there aren't very many close to me, so it doesn't make sense for me to go out to something like this. But if it was closer, I would totally, this is something that I would do. I think it would be a great, spending of $30 and but
it seems, I mean, there are 8 movies, so that's difficult, I guess, to schedule, but The Lord of the Rings, they did that with The Hobbit. I think Star Wars did similar things, so. We asked a benefit that our $5 patrons have is we asked them a question for each episode for them to answer. We asked, which Harry Potter movie must you see in IMAX next week? Because like I said, a lot of people are excited about this. Kieran said, I would see Philosopher's Stone. I didn't start seeing the movies in theaters until the 5th one, so I'd love to see the beginning of the series on the big screen. Somebody here didn't... Eric, you weren't a fan until Prisoner of Azkaban, movie, right?
No, but I wasn't a fan until the first movie. So the movies, that was what it was for me.
Was that you, Micah? When did you...
Yeah, well, as I just mentioned, I didn't see Goblet of Fire. I believe was the first movie that I saw in theaters.
Okay.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan until 2005. When I got a chance to read the books that summer, and I think at that time it would have just been prior to the release of Half-Blood Prince, and then I read that, and well, the rest is history, being on this podcast for the last 11 years. But
yeah.
Grace said Deathly Hallows Part 2 for sure. Always the most emotional and spectacle-driven film for me. I agree with that. I think if I had to pick one, it would probably be Deathly Hallows Part 2. Just that end scene, to see that in IMAX again, I would love it. Doug said, I'm going to cheat and say Deathly Hallows Parts 1 and 2. Erwin says Sorcerer's Stone for me. I never got to see it on the big screen, and it's where it started for the movies. Go. Yeah, I imagine the early films are probably going to be the most popular for that reason. Roxanne said, while it's not my favorite, if I had to choose one, it'd be Sorcerer's Stone. For this reason, I'd got to see movies 3 through 8 in IMAX the first time around, so I'd pick one of the first 2.
I gotta say, it's knowing that you can get a festival pass for $30, I'm totally gonna do that. Like, I'll go after work or something this week, if I have to, because seeing that, I mean, it's $30, like... it's clearly not a money grab on the part of, WB. I don't think. I mean, a single IMAX ticket can be upwards of $20.
This is purely to get people excited for Fantastic Beasts again.
I think it'll work.
That's a good.
That's
great point.
what it's for.
And is it? Sorry, you may have said this, but is it a single entry? So once you use it, you can't come back, or you can come back throughout the course of the week.
That festival pass, you can go back as many times as you want. You can see the same film multiple times too with the same pass. By the way, it just covers everything. But then you can buy individual tickets as well. You don't have to go on IMAX's site, by the way. You can also go on Fandango. And speaking of Fantastic Beasts, the main theme was revealed. So the Hedwig's theme, if you will, of Fantastic Beasts. Are you ready? We're going to listen to it now.
This is exciting, kind of.
Wait, it sounds just like Harry Potter.
Yeah, this is Harry Potter.
So, it goes on and on. It's about 2.5 minutes long. I like it.
I don't.
What?
Well, I will say that about 1 minute and 40 seconds in, it gets amazing. But I think it starts.
Let's play that part.
Right?
Okay, it's fun.
This is what I want. This is the Fantastic Beasts movie I want. That's fantastical. The beginning is so bombastic.
True.
It's so bombastic. It's outright. It's oh no, there's a giant. I'm not interested, but I love what it opens up into.
That part we just played reminds me of the build mode in The Sims. Dun, 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 dun.
Well, and if you look at James Newton Howard, who is composing Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, and look at what else he's done. He did The Hunger Games. He did Mockingjay, Snow White and the Huntsman, some more recent films, Maleficent, Batman Begins, The Dark Knight. These are all, every single one of them is an intense scenarios, larger than life, superhero. If you go back, he also did King Kong, which is perfect for this. But I really love the sense of wonder and awe that the Harry Potter scores were all able to convey. And so again, the second half of the main title is for me because the music captures that more than just this other, super aspect of danger and peril.
It is kind of all over the place. It's weird that a main theme goes dark and then bright.
Yeah,
that kind of surprised me. But
sort of like an overture or a medley or something that you do a sampling of all the little themes.
Yeah, and by the way, this is this score. If you want to maybe add it to your phone or whatever, it's on Spotify already, Apple Music, all that. By the way, just looking at these comments again about what movie people would see in theaters, I have to read this one from Allie. She says, Part 2, I want to hear, "Not my daughter, you bitch," again in full surround sound.
Yeah, that'd be worth it.
Yeah.
I'm going to see Goblet of Fire in IMAX so I can hear "I Love Magic" in surround sound.
You don't want to hear "Did you put your name in the Goblet of Fire"?
Oh, God, you're right. I'll leave before that happens. Oh, Pamela.
Or we could just all agree to collectively boo during.
You can plan your potty break and then
yes,
good call.
Not my Dumbledore.
Not hashtag not my Dumbledore. Oh my gosh, bring the signs, guys.
Oh man,
I would actually want to see Half-Blood Prince too, because those scenes of Harry and Dumbledore in the cave, that would be pretty cool to see in IMAX.
Yeah. That's when Michael Gambon finally understood what he was doing.
Yeah. Well, to credit to David Yates, I guess.
I don't know who it's a credit for. He's just let loose and not really tamed for years. But
Michael Gambon's an actor. He'll do what he's told.
That's
I think.
true.
He just didn't understand the character in Goblet, and Mike Newell didn't bother to explain it to him.
No, Mike Newell wanted the tension. He wanted the energy of shaking him against the wall.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it lasted one movie.
Right. I remember hearing... I can't remember who told me this, but I remember hearing that Mike Newell, the cast didn't really like him.
Oh, I didn't hear that at all.
I think he just had bad relations with everybody, like kind of an angry director. And anyway, one other news story we want to mention. So I don't know if you guys have noticed, maybe you've been to Hot Topic recently or one of these stores like Hot Topic. A lot of new Harry Potter merchandise recently. Have you guys noticed that?
Oh my God. Barnes & Noble is like a treasure trove for unnecessary Potter paraphernalia.
Yeah. Yeah, I've loved going into Hot Topic and seeing the latest stuff. They have like a cool Marauders. They have a Marauders map button-down T-shirt. Like it's not a T-shirt, a button-down shirt. It's like one of those Hawaiian shirts, you know.
Yeah,
but it's the Marauders map.
Where?
Yeah,
Barnes
it was pretty
Noble?
Cool. No, Hot Topic.
Oh, Hot Topic.
I have a towel, Marauders map towel.
Okay, that's cool.
Does it do anything if you are drying off and you say mischief managed?
No.
Okay.
Drying off after what exactly?
Shower.
Okay. There's also a shirt that has like the 4 Marauders on it. It says like Wormtail, Prongs, Moody, you know, like the 4 of them on like in a circle. So anyway, there's all this new merchandise that's pretty cool. And now, and of course we all know that there's tons of Harry Potter Funkos now, which is awesome. Now there's a official Harry Potter Loot Crate box. We all know Loot Crate is this thing that you subscribe for like $25 a month and you get new stuff mailed to you. Now there's an official one. It's going to have stuff from Harry Potter and Fantastic Beasts. And they start at, I think it's around $25 per month. Interestingly, people who have done Loot Crates are probably familiar with this. When you sign up for the Wizarding World one, it asks you your shirt size, your gender, and it also asks what Hogwarts house you're in. So they're going to send you stuff tailored to your Hogwarts house, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
This isn't an ad, by the way, but I thought it was really exciting for fans because Loot Crates are a pretty big deal. They're actually you can get it for as cheap as $32.99, but you have to order 6 crates for a year.
Oh.
And are they random? Yeah. I mean, I'm not as familiar with how it works.
Well, yeah, that's the fun of it. You don't really know what you're getting, so it's kind of like getting a Christmas present, a holiday present.
Over the year.
You open it up and like, oh, look at all this stuff.
I think it's very interesting to explore, on our podcast, like the recent resurgence of merchandise. I think it's clearly just leading up to Fantastic Beasts, but all this stuff is very, very interesting.
It is. It's like I said, it's exciting to see in the stores, and it's been fun to see the new stuff. They have shirts that say "always" on it, like stuff that fans really identify with. I think they have their pulse on what people are looking for.
You know what I want?
Merchandise-wise.
Here's what I want out of Harry Potter merchandise. This is probably on the line closer to on the list of like rejected Harry Potter merchandise. But I want stiletto shoes that release ink so that when you walk around, you make the footprints that are like on the Marauders map. That's what I want.
I would wear those.
Do you actually want these? That sounds like a terrible idea.
I would wear those, but everybody would hate you. It'd have to be like invisible ink. If it was invisible, that would be way cooler. It just left no footprint, but you could see it for like 3 seconds.
But that's my favorite, like the art department of Harry Potter did amazing things, but those little footprints on the Marauders map when you're walking are the best.
That would go down as well
as the vibrating broomstick. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Gotcha.
Well, okay. What if it'd be cool if there's a Marauders. Sorry, I'm a little congested right now. It'd be cool if there was a Marauders map app. And like you and all your friends could sign up for it, and then the world looks like the Marauders map, and you could see their footprints walking around slowly, like there's 3 steps, and then they disappear. Yeah. Wouldn't that be cool?
Didn't Google have something like that where you could like always see where your contacts were if they had the Google? Like, it was really creepy.
It wasn't an official thing. Yeah, it wasn't. It was creepy. And also, this app that I'm proposing would be a total iPhone battery burner. or in case of Samsung, Exploder.
Sounds like Pokemon Go a little bit.
But this is a missed opportunity for like Harry Potter conventions. Like if a LeakyCon made a Marauders Map app and it would help you like find all your friends and you could track people that way within like the confines of one space. I'm just saying.
Yeah. That would be cool. So that's MuggleCast, episode 302 for this week. We are going to record a bonus MuggleCast right now for our patrons. We're going to be talking about another big story. J.K. Rowling revealed new writing on MACUSA. This is kind of like a Fantastic Beasts promotional piece. So we are going to be talking about that. She revealed the history of the school, right, Micah? Or, I'm sorry, of MACUSA. Yeah. Its origins.
The a little bit more backstory on MACUSA, really from its founding all the way up to present day, at least from a Fantastic Beasts standpoint, because I don't think she wanted to give away too much information related to the film. But one other thing I did want to mention, and I don't think we've actually talked about it on the show, is the event that is coming up in New York City with both J.K. Rowling and Eddie Redmayne for the Fantastic Beasts film.
Right. That's Saturday, November 12th at 6 p.m. Carnegie Hall, baby.
I've got the tickets for Micah and me sitting right here.
And mine are at the Will Call box office.
Micah, I'll sell you one of my tickets for $500.
Is that the going rate?
Yeah.
Probably.
I mean, I paid $50 for it, but I want to make a quick buck. So, yeah. So, $500.
Okay, done. Damn, I'm now recorded saying that I would pay $500 for that ticket. But no, I of course just wanted to let everybody know that we will be there. Still some plans in the works. We want to try and put together some kind of meetup for everybody that will be there, that listens to the show. Details to follow, but we definitely want to do something and see everybody else that's going to be there for Fantastic Beasts.
Yeah. And even if you're not going to the event, if you're in the New York area, we're going to try to do something, whether it's formal or informal, somewhere in Manhattan, just to say hi to everybody. So keep your calendar cleared for that weekend. We don't have a day or time yet, but that November 12th weekend is when we're going to do something, hopefully. And that's it. I would like to plug our Patreon real quick, patreon.com/MuggleCast. We're on our way to doing weekly episodes. We're getting close. Thank you to the 709 people so far who have pledged. We really appreciate your support. When you do pledge, you get lots of bonus content, including chapter readings, vlogs. You get to influence each episode of MuggleCast. You get to listen live, as a few of our patrons are right now. Hello, patrons listening live.
Hi.
And yeah, just lots of cool stuff. And we really appreciate the support. It means a lot that so many people are interested in helping us out. Pam, thanks for joining us on the show today.
Thanks for having me. It was fun.
Yeah, absolutely. You can hear Pam every week, basically, right?
Yeah, sometimes twice a week.
Hypable's Hype. Sometimes twice, when they're doing special episodes right now where they go through Gilmore Girls.
Are. If you're excited for
how
Gilmore
far are
Girls, we are actually trying to figure out when we're going to record season 6. And if you've never seen Gilmore Girls before, we make sure not to spoil anything past the season that we're watching, because Selena, who's one of our hosts on that special set as well, has never seen the series in full before, so she's coming into it unspoiled. It's a really good time.
I officially have realized that Gilmore Girls is a cultural phenomenon. After they did this free coffee thing,
oh my gosh,
in coffee shops across the country.
It was amazing.
The lines were around the block for free coffee.
I got free coffee.
Me too.
Fans. Yeah. I'm at the end of season 6, Pam.
Oh my gosh, how exciting.
It's very exciting.
So, thanks again, Pam, for coming on. And don't forget our website. I guess that'll be our final plug for today, MuggleCast.com. You can get all the information you need about this show. And thanks, everyone, for listening. I'm Andrew.
I'm Eric.
I'm Micah.
And I'm Pamela.
See everybody next time. Goodbye.
Bye.